No promises.
Well, your funeral, I guess.
Nah, you're coming down with me. Brand association. you're complicit in whatever I say.
Nah, it's not how that
God,
works.
I can't believe we eat our own poo.
We what? We're owed poo. Did you just say?
we eat our own. we eat our own poo.
Yeah,
I can't believe we both do that. Me and you, these two guys right here.
it's pretty crazy, right? What can I say, man? It's tasty stuff. I eat tasty things, and they taste just as good the next time.
I don't like poo.
Whoa,
I don't
man,
like
come on,
poo.
man.
Wow,
I just look
get a
like
load
a
of this
weirdo.
guy. Get a load of this guy. You eat this
You.
turd. All right. Let's move past this segment and start the show.
It's the best segment of the show. What are you talking about?
Yeah. All right. Let's jingle me in and
You are.
Hi, team.
Hello.
Welcome back to episode 86 of the Quick Resume podcast. We're a bit later than usual. We got busy lives, sue us. It's what we have to do sometimes to keep this up for you guys, our elated fans.
It's true.
So thanks for coming, which, by the way, I'm not happy. I think I said this to you the other week, Tim. After 2 weeks ago, our view trajectory was really good.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody gave a shit about our reaction video to the direct, and nobody gave a shit about our podcast last week. I don't know, I'm not crying over these numbers, but sometimes you just look at the trends in the algorithm and stuff, and you're like, why? We're talking so 100 views. Yeah, it's small fry stuff, but when I just quickly glance over it, I'm like, what did we do differently in that episode?
Yeah, well, I just think that's just what it is when you're this small. I just think it is just bursts of just randomness when it comes to view rates and stuff. I don't think there really is any pattern, apart from established few people that we know watch. Yeah, it just seems random until you get larger.
Maybe I just need to put your face in every thumbnail.
Really?
I'll bring in the viewers.
Does that genuinely? Do we get the views on the thumbnails which have my face in them? Is that a thing?
I mean, I haven't done that, but I know it would work, but I just feel a bit uncomfortable with doing it. I know people click on faces, that's just a thing. And I'm not talking about video games. I'm not talking about headshots. I'm not talking about my KD. You know what I'm saying?
It's a weird way to put it. Instead of clicking on it, it's clicking on faces. It's a lot more sinister.
Yeah. Well, all right. Well, if you haven't been here before, hi, my name's Deck. That guy over there, that's Tim.
Hello.
Hi. And we've got a lot to talk about today. It was arguably this is the biggest Xbox week since June, since the showcase. So we weren't missing this. We've moved mountains for you to make this happen. So here we are. Lots to talk about. Really excited. Actually, this is a really nice lean show. So I think you're going to appreciate this. I know you like a lean show, just like you like your men.
I'm not sure about tonight. So far, all I've done is been insulted.
Insulted?
I'm the producer, right? Hi, Timmer. Timmer, I think the show might end early. I'm going to be honest.
I didn't insult anyone. There's nothing wrong with liking lean men.
Don't fucking put me on the fucking. Don't make me walk the plank on this one, dude.
Wow. You're going to get cancelled. And you know what? That reminds me of one of the stories we have to speak about today with Xbox getting cancelled. Do you know what? We're going to start with this. We're going to start with
Xbox being cancelled.
We're going to start with Xbox being cancelled. With Xbox going woke. Yeah, it was too good of a segue to not take. Because apparently, the conservative right over in America decided that Xbox's power saving modes was is Xbox going woke. You know, Xbox, because Xbox did this thing where they were like, if you're using, you know, the quick startup mode, whatever it's called, it's going to boot up like half a second slower for everyone across the board, but you're going to say it's going to run at like half the energy. You know, it's going to take off or knock off a third of like the energy efficiency. So it's good for your money, good for the environment. Really, there's no downsides here.
No, I don't see any so far.
Imagine seeing that and being like, right, that's our story for today. They're coming for you. They're coming for your X. They're going to take it away.
What do you mean? Exactly. I don't understand.
Tim, you know, a lot of the conservative right operate on the slippery slope fallacy. You know, so that means that if X happens, Y is going to happen. You know, so of course, if Xbox, you know, make my console more price efficient and generally better for everyone around me, that means that the next thing they're going to do is take it away. They're just going to shut it down.
All right. But what's the negative here? What I don't understand. What are they being bashful?
They're going to come for you.
You haven't been clear.
They're going to come for you. This is just the story, man. I don't have anything to add. This is the story.
They're going to come for us in what sense?
They're going to come, like, it's up to you. It's a matter of interpretation, really. You know.
Well, what I'm reading here is they're trying to recruit your kids into climate politics.
Well,
by being consciously more green with their energy, it's what they think it's a form of brainwashing.
Can you tell me what you think about the phrase climate politics?
It doesn't make any sense. There's no such thing as climate politics. It's just a case of saving the planet. There's no politics behind it.
Yeah, they'd be like, "Oh man, God, I hate it. I hate this murder politics. You know, don't kill people. That's murder politics. That is."
It's true. Yeah, he's telling me not to kill people, which is kind of making me want to kill people.
Yeah, that's what it is. Must be all those vaccines we got, am I right?
Okay. Oh, look at this. Look, Joaquin's popping off, saying that it's better time. You're welcome.
Is he telling me off?
No. You're welcome, Joaquin. This one's on me because I forgot my laptop when I went to go visit my family today. So that's why we're doing it later.
We have tossed up the idea of doing the show a bit later. We'll see how we get on today because, like, you know, look at that clickbait. Like this should be doing numbers, you know, by the end of the show, you know. So we'll see how we get on, you know, and we'll inform the schedule going forward. I mean, I could do a slightly later show. Could you?
Yeah. I mean, I guess so. You know, nothing's stopping me from doing it as long as it doesn't go too late and start affecting me going to bed for work the next day. Yeah.
No, we would never do it this late. I mean, ideally, the latest I'd do it is like maybe 4 or 5 for us. So, you know, 3 hours ago for Americans. But I'm happy for you, Wikin. I'm happy you're not going to fall asleep in our show. I'm glad we won't bore you to sleep tonight. You know, we'll really try our best to not lullaby you into your little doze. Okay, so that's that. Xbox gone woke. We're all climate politics activists. You know,
could I put that on my CV now?
What?
That I'm into climate politics because I've got my Xbox in energy saving mode.
Yes, I think so. I mean, it sounds very
good
advanced.
Yeah,
climate warrior. In fact, you know, and that sounds like a class, like a World of War class, isn't it? Like I'm a climate warrior. Let's go.
Yeah, it does sound pretty good actually. Yeah, it's going on the CV. Tim Hellett, climate warrior.
Yeah. I could see it. I remember when I was younger, one time I ran for 2 miles down a really long beach. The tide was out because a sandwich bag blew out my hands. And I grabbed it. And that was like my identity for a full week that I was a climate warrior. Like for a week, I was like, this is all I do now.
2 miles.
Yeah.
I'm not sure you know how far 2 miles is.
I do. I know how long 2 miles is.
2 miles is a lot to chase after a fucking sandwich bag.
Why are you smiling like I couldn't do that? Why are you smiling like I couldn't do that? I did it
Well,
when I
you
was like
definitely
9.
couldn't do it now.
I fucking could. Watch me. I'm an endurance runner. I'll keep going.
Oh god, you do bad.
What do you do? Stand around on a fucking field?
Right, we're not having this debate. We're done.
You started it.
I also run as well, so fucking eat that.
Debatable. 20 minutes.
What's the next story, man? I feel like we're really
there
like
isn't a story
to each other tonight.
It's fucking late because of you.
Oh god,
I'm joking, man. Vibes are good. Okay, well, actually, we skipped over the what you've been playing section, though. I suppose this is probably going to be quite short, but we should do it anyway. Let's not talk about Hi-Fi Rush here, Tim. If there's anything else you've been playing.
What else have I been playing?
Other than with yourself.
I literally haven't. I've been so busy this week. I really haven't done much gaming at all this week. I don't even think I've done any cloud gaming. Like genuinely, I think I played like maybe a couple hours of games this week. Well, a few, which have been the game that shall not be named. And I almost bought, and I think I might have bought Marvel's Midnight Suns. I'm not sure. I don't know. I was on my phone and I wanted to see if it was still on offer, and my only option was to download to my console, so I did, and now it's saying I have it, but it wasn't on sale, and I'm wondering if they just took 60 quid out of my account, or if I just have like a free trial. I don't know, but it's installed.
Right.
Because I basically wanted to get it on the offer, but I'm not sure if I missed it or not.
What was the offer?
It was like 33 or 34 pounds or something.
That's pretty good.
Yeah,
it's a quick price, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, considering how well it's done, like review wise and selling wise, as far as I'm aware, it has done pretty well. Yeah, no, I was talking to my brother about it, and he said it's absolute. Like, he just says it's insane, and he was describing it all to me over the weekend and stuff like that. And mate, the game sounds incredible. So, yeah, I'm not sure about that. Stay updated. I might make a tweet about it.
Yo,
see if I have it.
That'd be pretty.
Yeah,
that'd be crazy.
Not often I tweet everyone. So
it's a moment. This is a moment to celebrate.
This is a hell of a moment right now. But yeah, apart from that, I haven't really been playing anything this week. It's been a very busy week for me. So
yeah, fair enough. I don't really know. Well, like in actual fact, our whole friend group has been dead because I was dying to play some Overwatch on Friday and nobody was around.
Yeah.
So I kind of just, and then when I was like, when I had some podcasts I wanted to listen to, and I kind of wanted a break from Hi-Fi Rush and everything, I didn't want to like blaster it. So I didn't. And you can't really play that while you're listening to something else, because he's vibing with the music. So I did actually boot up a little bit Deathloop. That was kind of weird. I just thought, with everybody talking about Redfall, I'll boot up Deathloop and I'll just go back and try and get a couple of achievements, and just kind of see how I got on. And I had a good time with that. I did. I got like 4 or 5 achievements. I was like, found a couple of things that I never knew existed. That's just kind of how those games are. They're so dense that you miss so much stuff. So yeah, it was fun. But that's kind of the only other thing I think I've played this week. I'm pretty sure. I'm still haven't really touched Pentiment because Hi-Fi Rush has taken my time, but that's still on the backlog somewhere. But yeah, that's kind of been it. So
nice.
Yeah, I've also been a bit of a busy boy. So I've had my full 2 weeks at uni, and then I'm back at work. With I'm into my work and uni at the same time this week going forward. So I'll have to juggle that. So
yeah,
speaking of juggling, Tim.
Oh yeah.
Do you know what game you can air juggle people in?
There's quite a few come to mind.
Yes, there is.
But I think the one you're talking about is Bayonetta 3.
God, was keeping me like so much suspension there. It was scary.
I had like extra long pauses.
Yeah. Okay, so what I want to do now here, everyone, is I want us to talk through kind of Hi-Fi Rush a little bit. Give it a bit of a review, talk about kind of the nature of it, and then we're going to swing back around and talk a bit more about the developer direct. Just we've already done our reaction to it. We gave kind of a mini review, but now that we've had a bit of distance from it, we've kind of seen the reaction to the internet. Speak through that a little bit more, and then go into the rest of the stories. How could we not speak about Hi-Fi Rush? Because obviously, when the show concluded, on the back of the reaction video that we did, which by the way you can go and watch it at Quick Resume podcast /video. I don't know how URLs work. It's somewhere.
We definitely
it's like
don't have
here,
our own
maybe?
domain.
Which side of the screen am I at? Why not? You're the fucking producer. Do you know what I mean? Can you give us a domain?
Well, if you want to buy a domain, we can buy a domain, but we don't have one right now.
Oh. That's fine then. So Hi-Fi Rush, Tim, been in development since 2017. By the what even is John Johannes, who's one of the other studio leads over at Tango Gameworks. I think he's led some of the other games. Did he lead Ghostwire? Can't remember, but he he didn't. Shingy did, the other guy. So these games were developed in parallel.
Okay.
So they started at the same time, Ghostwire and Hi-Fi. So it's been in development for a while. It obviously was shadow dropped, and it's currently now sitting at an open critic of 90. About an hour ago, it dropped down from 91. So it's teetering kind of the lower 90s, which is pretty fucking insane for the type of game that it is. And, I kind of wanted to just talk about how substantial this is for Xbox. Really, like, not only is it a clear hit, it's had the virality that Xbox absolutely wants from a game, just really any game. In a way that I think other games they've released could have, but didn't. Like Grounded, I think could have, but didn't. Maybe because it had that whole preview period and everything. And it's a lot of people are calling it a game of the year contender. So what now that we've had a bit of distance, you've dipped your toes in a little bit. What are your thoughts about the release of Hi-Fi Rush into the world? Its significance to Xbox, and how what your kind of temperature is on this madness, on this rush
of madness.
Yeah,
man. It's I kind of went blank. I don't know why, but yeah, it's I think the whole way they've handled this release and everything like that has been really, really cool in my opinion. I like the fact that they kind of kept this under wraps, and they no one was really aware of did this game even it did kind of have a title before this show, didn't it? Like people were aware Hi-Fi Rush was a thing, right? Or not?
Did we not? We knew with the logo leaked.
Yeah.
A couple months back, and there were some kind of unsubstantiated reports that it was a Pentiment-sized game, was what Grubb said, and it had the style of Jet Set Radio or Sunset Overdrive. I think it was mentioned that it was a rhythm game somewhere as well, I think, but that was kind of all we knew.
Yeah. So I just think it's pretty cool that they managed to keep the whole thing just essentially completely under wraps and hidden from the public eye. They obviously knew when this started development, both on the idea and how it started looking in its early days, that this game was going to be a bit of a banger, right? They were just like, this is good. Like, we like this. We have a plan for this. Obviously they had a projected year of finish. They were probably like, this won't be finished till late 2022, 23. And I just really liked the way that Xbox played around it, and just kept it quiet, and then used it as a stealth drop just to, just kind of just jet themselves to the front again, to the front of media, and just get them back in the spotlight a little bit. I think it was really smart. I think it was a really smart way of doing it. And plus, that's literally never been done before, a game to get revealed, shown, and dropped on the same night. So it's quite literally made history. It's pretty it was pretty cool. Yeah.
There is one other I can think of that, you know,
Oh,
and arguably Hi-Fi Rush and this other one are probably in contention for the most substantial shadow drops of all time. And I'm surprised you forgot on this one because you have quite a lot of hours in it.
was it
As
like
do I.
Outriders or something?
No, Apex.
Oh yeah, Apex. Yeah, I do remember Apex.
Mm. You know, that was a similar sort of
Yeah.
thing, wasn't it? It just this is, and it's, you know, I think there's a degree of there's been a lot of talking about this.
Does Apex really
I guess
count?
firstly,
Like games as a service,
would you,
it came out without like a lot of the content it had planned for it. They kind of just pushed it out to get like a feel for the game. Like, but I mean, I guess it does
what
count. It's not like they didn't release it as a full package game, right?
what do you mean? Oh, is that what you mean? You feel it's like kind of different because it was kind of a free to play service game that came
Yeah,
out
it
with
essentially
minimal
kind
stuff in
of
it.
yeah, exactly. It was essentially just like let's just see how they react to this. Like it was almost like a preview, right? You know, it wasn't like they just released like a full package game, start to finish, credits roll. You know, this is it. This is the final product. So, but I guess it does count. I guess you are right. But yeah.
And I think one of the important parts here, for us to consider. Firstly, I guess is that it's important to note that in Phil Spencer's interview, he said, that it was Bethesda's idea to do the shadow drop. Firstly, which is great. So I'm glad that that's happening. They're still doing their thing and they still have their strategies. That's great. But the second part is this kind of idea that Apex shadow dropped, arguably because there was kind of a lot of negativity that built up. It's like plaque, it built up over the years because they were building a game that wasn't Titanfall 3. Everybody wanted Titanfall 3, and it's not going to have mechs in it. It's not going to have any wall running. It's going to be battle royale. Oh, not another battle royale. It's kind of this negativity, and the shadow drop just allowed it to go in. Everybody played it and could judge it on its own merits without any of that build up. Like, oh, I don't really like this. It's not. Do you think there's kind of a parallel there with kind of Hi-Fi Rush? Like, do you think because it's an Xbox game, because it's like kind of cartoony in style, because it's kind of coming from Tango and it's not, a next big installment in terms of, maybe the Evil Within or whatever it is, the same thing would have happened if Hi-Fi hadn't been shadow dropped? Do you feel this was strategic in that it tried to avoid that negativity, or do you think it was just a shadow drop for the sake of fun?
I think it was. Yeah, it's hard to say because obviously it's been in development for a while, and back then, Xbox didn't exactly have like the best standing with the community, so they probably would have got a lot of negativity if they did show this game off and stuff like that, and people were just like, oh, it's not really my cup of tea, it looks okay, but all this, like they form their opinions by watching these trailers over time, and I do think it definitely gave it the edge it needed and probably was looked upon more fondly in everyone's eyes, just from the fact that it was shadow dropped. So yeah, I do think it was quite smart, but I don't think it was because they had doubt in the product or the game. I just think it's Xbox's standing at the time. I just think anything they would have put out would have been received with a bit of a pinch of salt and a bit of negativity, and would have been scrutinized quite a bit. So I just think keeping it under wraps just sort of avoided all that toxicity that could have come towards the game a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, super interesting strategy. I definitely think it was the right call, but now my only worry with like this sort of like shadow drop is that it's like people are gonna expect like a big surprise every developer direct. That's my worry. So
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I guess the more casual gamer might, but I think we as people who look into the industry a little bit and sort of follow it to an extent, are pretty. I think we're pretty confident stuff like this isn't going to happen on a regular basis, and we don't expect it to. But yeah, I could definitely see the more casual gamer just being like, "Oh, where was the drop this year? Where was the what?"
Yeah, that's
what
right. That's it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And like Xbox is held to such a higher standard with this shit, so it would be like that's my concern that now that they've like set the bar with this, like you said, it is kind of like this historic moment with the success of it and what it is, and especially Xbox doing it with their new show, yada yada yada. That if they don't do it now, it's like, oh, rubbish show. And I think that actually, just I guess to kind of tie into the developer direct conversation as well, like the wider reception for the developer direct was like okay to good. It was like pretty good. In the Xbox community, everyone's like fucking ecstatic. We were at the end of that show, like that 8.5, that's a 9, really high scores for what it was trying to be, high production value, saw the games, big surprises, no waffle, good gameplay for the most part, good, good, nice release dates as well. Just everything so, I guess you run the risk with smaller shows of that happening, and especially, if we come onto another show and they don't do a super mega surprise shadow drop, I'm just worried that, the core game and negativity will gain momentum again and be like, oh, what was the point of that? Not even a secret shadow drop, not even a secret 90 open critic shadow drop. What's the point?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's such a feat for this to have has done as well as it has, and that's the highest score, like we were saying, of like an Xbox exclusive for a very long time, right? Isn't it like since like, well, it's definitely obviously this year, but like, when was the last first party Xbox game to get over a 90? Forza Horizon, maybe?
Yeah, I was about to start laughing like it's been so long, but it really hasn't. Yeah, in 2021 they had Forza, in 2020 they had Flight Sim, but I guess what you can say is that this is the most mass appeal 90 plus they've had.
Yeah, and it's weird to say mass appeal as well, right? Because you wouldn't have thought this game would be mass appeal, and I think stealth dropping it has made it mass appeal as well. Like, even if this game was dropping into Games Pass, if they announced it 2 years ago, had trailers, had lead ups to it, I don't think it would have been nearly as mass appeal as it is. It would have been quite niche. It would have been like, oh, this is a rhythm game. It's totally not for me. I don't do rhythm games. But everyone's just kind of drawn into the hype.
I like music.
Yeah, I mean, I've never fucking played a rhythm game in my life. I never played Hellraiser. I've never played anything.
You played
I played
Patapon?
Guitar. I played Guitar Hero and Patapon. Yeah, but like, they're not really my cup of tea. But I booted this up the next day and I played it for like 3-4 hours and had an insane time. It's
so good.
Yeah, it feels.
It's so good.
It's
incredible.
It feels incredible. Yeah, like it just plays really well. It's really responsive. It's really crispy. It's so pretty and colorful.
So clean.
And
it's so polished.
The voice acting is like phenomenal as well.
The writing
is good.
Incredible.
Yeah, exactly.
Genuinely funny.
And just like the whole like cinematic of it all, like the entrances for all the characters and the boss fights, like you said, it's very like Scott Pilgrim-y, and it's very over the top, and they just weren't afraid to just really just lean into it and just go wacky and wild. It was really good, man. It was. I'm still playing it. It's really good. Yeah, I'm enjoying it a lot.
There's just so much visual flair, isn't there? Like they committed to they used like 4 or 5 different art styles throughout the game, and they've got like that whole half frame thing going on in the cutscenes, like Into the Spider-Verse did. That just makes it look so good, like it's ripped out of a comic book page. It's awesome.
So I'll be interested to see what we're obviously talking about the show and how the wider audience has received it and everything. What about everyone in our chat? Can I get some numbers in the chat for what you thought about the show? If you watched it live, or if you watched it after, or if you just watched highlights or whatever, what kind of score would you give it? I want to see what everyone says, because obviously if you watched our video, we gave it pretty high scores, but it'd be interesting to see if we were drawn into the hype, if everyone else was as well, or yeah.
I'm doing a poll.
Oh, you don't need to do a poll, dude. They can just.
I did it.
They can just. They could have just typed their number.
I didn't give it a title. I just put numbers.
They literally could have just typed their number, dude. I don't know why you're making this. All right, yeah. Text on a poll, everyone.
Yes, yeah, no, so I agree, yeah, and because like people have done like Twitter polls and stuff, and with A, B, C, D, and generally the consent, it's all over the place, honestly. Like generally B edged out with a lot of these, but A had a lot of votes. C also had a lot of votes, and so did D. D had like the least, but and I'm paraphrasing, I'm summarizing from what I've seen, but that's generally how it was. Like some people, and like you go on like the Reddit threads and things like that, and some people were genuinely like, "What was the point in the show?"
Mm.
Other than Hi-Fi Rush, disqualify it. Like other than Hi-Fi Rush, ESO, don't care about that. Redfall looks like shit. Forza didn't get released date. Do you know what I mean? And people like hyper focus on, I don't know.
Yeah.
I guess, if you're not interested in any of those games, I guess you can give it a 0 out of 10, I suppose. Like, what are we doing here then? Why are you watching a show that you're not interested in? But it is what it is.
Yeah, exactly. There was only like 4 games shown off, right? So yeah, if you weren't interested in any of those 4, you're going to give it a low score. But then, that's not really the show's fault. But yeah, I can't see everyone's votes, by the way, because your big fucking chat box is blocking everything, and I can't vote without signing in, and I don't want to sign in. So read it and close it.
My chat box. What does that mean? Why do I have ownership of the chat box?
There's like a box, the massive poll box blocking like half the fucking chat, and I can't get rid of it without closing it.
Okay. All right. Well, 9 plus is 1. Okay. So I'm going to end it now. Good job, everyone. Good. We're all in agreement.
Look, everyone just typed it anyway. Yeah.
And so I think I guess I'm ready to sort of talk about the game in more detail. Then I finished it about 2 hours ago.
You finished it? Sake, man.
Clocked in at 16 hours. Yeah, wife and baby are away, so I just had time to just slam through it.
Fair dues.
And it's just wonderful. You think it's good, and then it gets better, and then it gets better, and then it gets better. Yeah, and there are some tracks that kick in the second half of the game that I'm pretty sure made me levitate off my seat. Like my bum was a solid 5 inches off of my sofa. I don't know what was happening.
Yeah,
but it's crazy. Really, it's quite frightening when you think about it.
Hi-Fi Rush made me levitate. Unlocked a part of my brain I didn't know existed.
Yeah. It's just really quite frightening. But that is to say that it was phenomenal. And I always like rhythm games. I played Hellraiser. I can't remember.
Hellraiser,
the Doom one.
Yeah.
And it gets a lot of things right. Like I played a couple of that levels, but like heavy rock isn't like really my thing. So there were a couple of levels where I was like, oh, this is cool, and then other ones where it's like like belly screaming or throat, whatever they do, and I'm like, this isn't for me.
Yeah.
So I kind of fell off, but I quite like the gameplay there. It was really difficult, like bone crunchingly hard, because you had to aim and keep on beat, and you had different guns that played at different tempos. Whereas this is like, everything, all your attacks always sync to the beat. It's just whether you're tapping the button on the beat, which will multiply your damage and your score and everything. And then your different combos, give you the different tempos and stuff. So it just comes together so fucking well, the gameplay. And, there's like, there's buy different combos and you string them together and you learn what each of them do. And, the characters you meet along the way, and wow, what a good time. And then not spoiler, it's not a spoiler, there's like more at the end of the game. Like you finish the game and there's more at the end.
Oh, cool.
Like whole modes, like whole systems that the game is just like, here you go.
Oh, that's cool. I like that.
Yeah. Like I said, it was 16 hours for me. Like I didn't play through it slowly. Maybe there's some idle time in there. I don't know what the how long to complete is or anything. Not what the official playtime is. But it's pretty substantial.
8.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. So you either had a lot of idle time or you just really took your time and just stared at walls.
Like maybe I did. It's that good.
Yeah, because I think it's like 8, and like completionist, like if you wanted to do everything, people were saying was like 16. So you're just a dad gamer now, man. You're just slow.
I guess so. I guess so. Well, that's what it says on the Xbox thing. So yeah, I don't know if there was idle time, but either way, it felt like a good amount. It went on for the perfect amount of time. Pacing was perfect. The no bugs. First, so this is the other weird thing about this whole shenanigan. We've been talking about like, oh, what's the first like acquired next gen game? You know, the first party game going to come out and be that's just on Series X. You know, that's going to leave last gen behind. And we're like, it's going to be Redfall. It's going to be Starfield. What's it going to be? It is Hi-Fi Rush.
Yeah. Who would have thought?
Out of nowhere. Out of nowhere. Like Tango just lapped everyone else. They were like, yeah, it's just us.
Yeah.
And it runs beautifully. So absolutely no problem with that. So I'm definitely in agreement. This is a game of the year, early game of the year contender for me. I'd probably give it 95. I think this is an obscenely good game. I dock the 0.5 because there's like a few times, like maybe twice I can count, where they get a bit crazy with what's going on in some of the busy fights. And it's like it's too much to track, especially when you get more mechanics, as the game goes on, where it's like 10% over what my brain capacity can handle, which isn't all that much anyway. But it's 10% over that, and that happened just like once or twice, So I felt like a mild bit of frustration, but it didn't last long. Whatever. For the most part, really good. All the boss fights, all the music, most of it's like original music, but there is like licensed stuff as well, and it's just so wonderful.
Yeah, that is really good. Yeah, what I especially love about that is I like that the enemies all move and attack in rhythm as well. So even like the defensive stance to that game, not even just attacking, is also rhythm based. And it just helps everything flow so nicely.
The whole world.
It's like snapping. I just think it's really good. Yeah. Yeah, it's just I can't really find a flaw in it yet. Yeah, I'm about 3-4 hours in, and I've had a really good time with it. I can barely find any flaws with it. Very, very good.
Yeah, fantastic. And I guess as we finish off the conversation around Hi-Fi Rush, I wanted to point out three things. Firstly, Chai as an Xbox mascot. Like Xbox hasn't had a proper mascot in ages, because they make a lot of faceless games or multiplayer games or co-op games. Like Sea of Thieves, there isn't really a mascot. Like there are fixed characters in the game, and everybody knows, like Sea of Thieves and knows what it is, but it's maybe not the same. Like it's harder to maybe market or slap on a box in the same way Master Chief is, or same with like Forza. It's not really a mascot. We've got like kind of Senua. Maybe when Hellblade 2 comes around, but we're not really there yet. And Xbox did have a lot of mascots back in the day, but this is another reason why I think this is a substantial release. Like, everyone's going to know who Chai is by the end of the month. Do you know what I mean? Like, even like the core gamer is going to know who Chai is.
Yeah. I don't know if he works as like I don't know, man. Yeah. It's kind of hard to say. I do agree with you, but then it's just like having like rhythm-based games as like a heavy, like a mascot for your platform. It's just, it still is a bit kind of niche, and I think this one is splashed extra hard because of the shadow drop, and I just don't know how much the next one's following will splash, or if people will fall off this style of game, because this sort of game doesn't appeal to the casual gamer. I mean, I haven't done studies on it, but I can't imagine it does, and will continue to. I don't know. I just don't think it does.
Well, I think it's. I don't know, man, because like I think we're looking at possibly the most accessible and best rhythm game ever here. Like I think we're literally looking at the best version of this genre that's ever come out, and also. I think there is like a really nice accessibility to Hi-Fi Rush, like with the whole thing of like your things land on beat, you're not going to start dying, and there's like a difficulty adjustments. There's some accessibility options around bits and bobs as well. Like I don't know, I get the sense that this is quite an accessible game that a lot of people are going to try out. I've seen a lot of comments, anecdotally saying, I've done rhythm games before, but they're not for me. But I booted this up, and it's working for me. And I think it got into like the top 5 on Steam on sellers, which is crazy considering it's in Games Pass. So it's performing well for what it is. I mean, I just don't know if I'm willing to pigeonhole it as niche. Like this game is niche. The genre overall, yeah, maybe.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying the game is niche. I said this game made a big splash. I'm saying the genre is niche and its sequels might be niche because they're not going to shadow drop the sequels, really. They'll probably be lead up to them, especially when they're just like, from the first Hi-Fi Rush, here comes Hi-Fi Rush 2. It won't be another shadow drop situation. So I just don't know if it's sort of like a honeymoon period sort of game and everyone's loving it just because it's the in thing right now. It's very polished, it plays well. I just don't know if its sequels of the genre will continue to be mass appeal to the point where Xbox goes chip little quids in and makes a giant a face for their platform. But who knows? It's not a bad idea. I'm not bashing it. I think it's very feasible. I'm just not 100% sold.
You're just kind of and skeptical of the idea of it being something that people are going to love, and I guess not going to love, but that everybody's going to be able to get into.
Just take to
and and I don't think it's like it's accessible as something like a straightforward first-person shooter or a straightforward story-driven third-person action adventure game. Like, don't get me wrong,
or a platformer.
But we've seen games like this break out into the mainstream before, like games that would traditionally be niche break out into the mainstream. I'd argue something like Hearthstone broke card games out like that. It's same with Marvel Snap again. You could probably argue things like roguelites, those were never popular. Hades had that kind of effect. There's more that that aren't coming to my head right now, but I think we have examples of that, and maybe same thing's happening here, but you might be right.
Potentially.
Maybe in a week's time those numbers fall off and we think no. But I mean, if anything else, I guess maybe if we move away from maybe the accessibility angle, the quality angle is maybe why I think they'd flag him as a mascot.
Absolutely.
That 90 number, because they even put planes on all their marketing now. Do you know what I mean? Most people don't give a shit about flight sim, but they flag that on all of their advertisements. You're like, it's a pretty plane. It's 92 on OpenCritic, best one ever made, literally best one ever made.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, there's no doubt with the fact that how it's released and its polish and how well it plays. You definitely can't deny that it's got a good reputation behind it right off the bat. So yeah, who knows? And it is cute. It is cute and it's fun. So yeah,
super cute. It definitely it stands out. I think in a library, and I think that's exactly what you want. So the last two things, I said I had 3, so I've got 2 more to go for Hi-Fi Rush, was that there's been a lot of detractors, Tim. As you imagine, Xbox has a breakout hit overnight. Wow, everybody loves this. Wow, 90 on OpenCritic. This is like the highest scoring game in the last 12 months. A third highest scoring game just behind God of War and Elden Ring. That's how sort of good we're talking about, level of quality. A lot of people saying, other than like, this is shit, this offends my very nature, and those people that don't really like anything. There are lots of people saying Xbox doesn't get credit for this. This might as well come to other platforms because Xbox doesn't get credit for this because technically it started development before the acquisition, Bethesda acquisition, 2020, whenever it started. I think it was 2020, wasn't it? And I just they've been under Xbox now for 2 whole years. Like, at what point are we going to move past this? Because I've seen a lot of people will say when Xbox releases, something which isn't as good, they'll say, "Oh, I can't believe Xbox have made them do this."
Yeah.
What did it? Bleeding Edge? That was the key example, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Even though that was a passion project that wasn't development before the acquisition of Ninja Theory.
Yes.
But when it's a banger, it doesn't count, man.
No.
Xbox had nothing to do with this. They're stenching on it.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say it's hard to say from both angles, but there's definitely no reason to be so skeptical. And so just like Xbox had nothing to do with it because, one, yeah, the acquisition of Bethesda went through in, what was it? It was 2020, you said. It was 2020, right?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, who's to say, that's when the acquisition went through. Talks of an acquisition probably happened quite a long time before that. There's a lot of yellow tape to go through there. So I'm sure the game was very early in its development cycle and its development. Just its development. And, there's no reason why Xbox just didn't see this and think like, yeah, this is great and pump more money into it. Whereas maybe the project might have fallen off or it might have not got as much budget as it actually did under Xbox's umbrella. Maybe with the budget pumped into it, we got it to the standard it's at now, where it's so polished and runs so well. Maybe that wasn't achievable if they weren't bought up by Xbox. So, it's just, it's impossible to say. But yeah, I think it's ridiculous that people are just saying like, oh yeah, it's just, they shouldn't take credit for it. Yeah, I mean, it's just, doesn't make any sense.
I suppose what people are looking for, when they're saying this, is that they want proof that a studio from start to finish can put out a critical hit under just Xbox like conditions, whatever that means. And I don't know if you're really ever if you're really committing to that like side of the spectrum, you can make this argument for the next 20 years. Do you know what I mean? Like the next Elder Scrolls comes out, it's an Xbox exclusive critical hit. It doesn't count because Elder Scrolls was actually, technically it's, next fucking next game comes out from id Software and it's let's say it's a new IP shooter or whatever, and they're like, oh, it doesn't count because if you look at the fine print, it says that they actually had this idea back in 2014 and then they started development.
The first piece of concept art was drawn with pencil on 2018, one day before the acquisition. Drawn on a piece of toilet paper. Yeah,
that's right. It's like, where are we drawing this line, man? Like, I mean, surely, I think it's time to just kind of accept that if a good chunk of the development, is done under these conditions, Xbox probably had a hand in it. We don't know, and we'll never know what those circumstances were. But I can't help but think, just looking at what we've got, that the existence of Game Pass influenced Bethesda's decision to shadow drop.
Definitely.
And we can look at the other games in development as well, like Redfall and Starfield, that they've been delayed and delayed. They probably or may not have got those delays. Bethesda have known for releasing games maybe a little bit too early despite their good quality, and for Todd to have a really good date lined up that he wanted when was it 11/11/22, and to have to push that back kind of indicates to me that he was happy with the safety net that he now has from Xbox. So that's been a whole thing.
Right.
And the final thing, Tim, which is like kind of in line with this story, which I think is super cute, and I don't know if it's intentional, but the main cast on the front cover of Hi-Fi Rush are literally the colors of the Xbox buttons.
Well, they're actually, that's awesome.
They're literally A, B, X, Y. Yeah, I mean, like I've got it on the notes. Chai's yellow, and then Peppermint's blue, and then one of the other characters is green, and one of the other characters is red.
They probably just use primary colors, but maybe there's some more to it than that, and it is the Xbox buttons, but they are also just primary colors.
Isn't PlayStation Square pink? There ain't no pink character in this fucking game. There ain't no stinky pink character in this game.
I don't think there is, actually. Damn, you're onto something. Fucking down with pink.
The Nintendo buttons, though.
Hashtag cancel pink.
So yeah, I just thought that was cute. Like I said, I might just be hallucinating and enjoying the brand synergy a bit too much, but it kind of looks like it. I don't know. I think that's kind of cute, whether it's intentional or not.
Yeah, it is cute. Yeah.
Okay, lovely. Well, that does it for Hi-Fi Rush. Unless there's anything else you wanted to say, Tim, I implore everybody to try this game. It's so good. It really is a early Game of the Year contender, and it's if this is how Xbox is going to start their 23, I'm feeling pretty good. You know, this is a bloody good start.
Yeah. No, I don't have anything more to say on it. Mainly because I want the show to wrap up so I can play more before I go to bed.
That's a fair shout.
So how you fuck up? Next story.
Alrighty. Wanted to give a quick shout out to Dead Space, which came out this week, mostly because there's a dynamic background, which is really weird, by the way. Like, I don't think we have a third-party background, like dynamic background available yet, other than this. Like, there's Wasteland 3, again, that's owned by NXL. You know, there's things like Fallout, the Fallout armor's there as well.
Yeah.
I think Pentament's there too. So, you know, this is all now first party stuff. But Dead Space is just kind of funny, I guess.
Yeah.
I did see though as well that the app got updated. You know, that we spoke about this ages ago, that the dynamic background making app that was for devs got updated. So maybe devs are just having an easier time whipping something together and, you know, flinging it over to us so we can pick up the crumbs.
Which is also super cool, because if we're going to start getting flooded with dynamic backgrounds, fucking sign me up. Yes, please.
Yeah.
I just want more choice, because I'm the sort of person where I change like my gamer picture, like, and background, like, depending on like my mood and like the season and shit like that as well. Like, I always put on like this grumpy bird covered in snow whenever it's winter and stuff like that. And then I change it for the summer and all that sort of stuff. So it's just really cool to just be able to personalize as and when I want. So yeah. I want more.
And, you know, for sure, what we definitely need a Hi-Fi Rush background.
Oh, absolutely.
Wow, that'd be lovely.
That looks so cool.
It's like pulsing.
Yeah, that'd be amazing.
That'd be great. Are you interested in Dead Space? Do you think you'll get this at any point?
I do want it, because I did enjoy the original. But I just, at the moment, with everything coming out and everything I'm playing currently, I don't know if I can justify the price tag for it right now. But if it gets a price cut in the next, you know, this half of the year or something like that, and I'm not completely absorbed by another game, yeah, I do want it. Yeah. I just don't know if I can spend £70 on it right now.
That's exactly how I feel. Yeah, I never played Dead Space. You know, I'm one of those guys. Never played it, so this is on my backlog for sure. I will play this at some point in my life. It's probably not now, just due to the circumstances. I've got quite a lot going on. Even though I've completed Hi-Fi Rush, I'm still going to be playing it. I'm still playing sort of Pentiment, you know. And there's more stuff coming out in the next few months. So much coming to Game Pass that I'm in no rush to buy it. I'd rather wait for a sale, essentially, you know. Things do be expensive, but I'm super happy that they nailed the remake. You know, EA's done a really good job with this in the last few years, haven't they? Between the Mass Effect remake, this, and some other games they've put out that have been pretty successful. Wild Heart's coming up as well, which is tentatively, you know, cautiously optimistic about.
Yes. Yeah. Atomic Heart.
Well, it's not EA.
Wait. Oh, we're only talking EA. I just thought we were talking about a couple of releases. Sorry.
So we'll see, you know, and I'm sure actually it will come to, well, I know for sure it will come to Game Pass at some point, because it's an EA game and the EA Vault is part of Game Pass. So it will happen at some point. It's just a matter of when.
Yes.
But it looks like, wow, like visually impressive from what I've seen. So
it looks
I'm super happy for everyone.
Yeah. It's gonna be a good playthrough for sure. Very atmospheric. Play that shit in the dark with headphones on. That shit's gonna be amazing.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So there was something else I wanted to speak about following on from the developer direct, which I had forgotten about, but I think we're kind of both invested in this enough to have a conversation and make this a talking point. And that is Redfall. And if you wouldn't mind, Tim, if you could maybe get some footage on the B-roll. for our video, which was just go to the gameplay trailer, Redfall gameplay trailer, the one that they just showed, and we can kind of have it on the background while we speak about this, because this has been a big talking point of the direct. You know, it's been mixed. And I kind of want to ask the chat while Tim, you know, gets this booted up. How did everybody feel about Redfall? Because it's continuing to have a bit of a mixed reaction. You know, some people, I saw some people saw this gameplay trailer and were literally like, I'm not excited for this now. You know, I saw the other side of it as well, where people were like, I wasn't sure, but now I'm kind of invested. So what do we think? Is Redfall looking good, or is it looking stink? Oh, we can go get a poll.
Redfall, no, yes, don't do a poll. Just ask people. It covers up so much in my chat. Fuck's sake.
All right, Timmer. Night, mate. I'll get some good Z's.
Yeah, night, Timmer.
Can you vote on the poll first,
buddy? Don't feel obliged, Timmer. Don't let them do this to you. All right, we got some B-roll playing. I'm just gonna mute it while we talk.
Yes, please.
It's playing.
Yes, please don't blow people's ears out. So I've been speaking to a lot of people about this on Twitter, kind of what they've been feeling. What are you feeling, Tim? You know, obviously we were liked what we saw in the moment. With a bit of distance now, a bit of perspective, you know, a bit of community reaction. How are you kind of feeling? Is it pretty much the same, or has it changed? Talk to me.
It has. Hang on, I'm just changing it to 720p 60, so it runs a bit better.
Cool.
It has changed. It's gotten better in my eyes. I am more excited for this game.
Oh, really? Oh wow.
Yeah, I mean, I was pretty excited anyway, but just to like visually see so much of what we're kind of expecting to see, and have like just, I don't know, quite a lot of the questions sort of answered that I had in terms of like what the loot will look like what the guns will look like visually, and you know, like I even said at one point when we were watching it, I was like, oh, I'm kind of disappointed that the guns look all a bit samey and a bit military, and I want some wacky stuff. And then they started immediately showing some like more wacky stuff. That definitely, that answered one of my biggest questions, was how's the loot going to look? And how's it going to play, and how's it going to like fit into the world's like style? So I was quite happy with that overall. I still want to see some more of that, because I just, you know, but from what I could tell, the legendaries and like weirder guns that would have effects did have like a very cool look to them, which is exactly what I look for in a game like this. I don't just want a shotgun that looks kind of the same, but it's just, you know, it explodes vampires. It's just like, no, I don't want that. So and it just seeing the gunplay more like just fluidly, like through large gameplay segments, had me more confident in how this game's going to play. You know, it very reminiscent of, you know, Deathloop in the sense that the gunplay looks pretty good. You know, it's not groundbreaking, it's not revolutionary, but it's, you know, it's more than serviceable, to the point it actually looks like it's going to feel pretty good, which is reassuring for Arcane, because I'm still not 100% sold on the fact that they are incredible with their shoot mechanics, but they're definitely getting better and better, and following in Deathloop's footsteps. And yeah, it just seeing everything sort of wrapped up, and seeing the characters and their identities and their skills and all that sort of stuff, you know, it just gave me a bit more confidence in what the final product's going to look like, and just reassured me a bit more. So yeah, I'd say it's bumped me up like a point on my hype scale for me.
Yeah, okay, interesting. Yeah, and you know, I think it really is split down the middle, man, because some people are like some people actively hate this game. Like, they don't just dislike it, they hate this shit. And one of the biggest things I've seen is that people keep saying, oh, enemies aren't reacting to gunshots, and I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, even like in this, I'm a bit behind on you watching, but in the I assume the scene just happened where they're in the houses and they've got the light on, and he shoots the vampire, he staggers. And in like every scene you see that they shoot people and people stagger back, and I'm like, I literally don't know what you're talking about when you're saying like enemies aren't reacting to your bullets. Like, watch it Like the enemies rock backwards, they stagger. There's even like if you pause on some of the pickups they've got, a lot of the guns have a stagger percent chance.
Mm.
It's a mechanic, like in So I'm not sure where people are getting that really, but I've seen it a few times. So it makes me think I'm missing something. Um, Something
No.
else I've seen frequently is that some people feel the textures are really flat in a lot of places, and I don't think that that's necessarily wrong. Because I remember feeling this way about Deathloop when I saw it. I was like, oh, a lot of this looks quite flat. But then when you actually play it, boot it up into 4K and it's all running in motion, it doesn't look that way. I don't know. It's just one of those things that makes all these arcade games like impossible to market because
Mhm.
they just never look that good graphically, but they always turn out pretty good graphically. Not setting any new bars, but they're artistic and they've got a style. Um, and one of the big things about arcane games is that they're very like dense in their world design. There's so many ways to approach, so many different ways to explore and approach a combat encounter, and you just can't really show that off in a single stretch of gameplay. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, I do know what you mean about like the textures and stuff like that. Yeah. It didn't blow me away with its graphical fidelity, but I think the important stuff looks good. The vampires look excellent. God, the vampires look so good in my opinion. I think their design, like their clothes and their long fucking ass limbs and nails and
The designs look
um
good. Yeah, the
yeah,
designs are great.
exactly. Yeah, which is important. And I think the animations look good as well. Like I do think enemies
I agree.
react to shots very well, and I do think like the recoil and the guns look good, and when you're like running around and using abilities, and like you saw like we like the invisible guy like used like his crow and it like was on his arm and then perched off, flew and went invisible in the sky and all that sort of stuff. The animations look great, the colors kind of pop for those sort of things. And I think that's where a lot
Hmm.
of the attention's going to go for your eye when you're playing the game anyway. So I think in the areas that matter, I do think the game looks pretty good,
Yeah, yeah. No, I agree with you.
and the
When we were
lighting is
watching it,
great.
I was like, oh, I like how this looks. Yeah, I'm the same. I think the lighting looks really good. Although I will admit there is some funniness going on with the shadows. This is something else that other people have pointed out, and I am actually in agreement here. Something is going on with the shadows where it's like they're not projecting properly. Like whenever
Okay.
they pull out the flashlight, people don't have like a full shadow. There's like a weird sort of silhouette around them, but slightly behind them.
Okay.
Um, like coming off the environment, it looks fine, but whenever they use the flashlight, I mean, the game's still 4 months out, so maybe this is just kind of final touches sort of stuff. Um, but I mean, I've watched through this trailer a few times now in 4K, and there are some like there's so much variety in the set pieces just in this trailer that I'm just kind of a bit annoyed that a lot of people are like, oh, the texture of the ground is like a bit bland there.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, what about the massive like tree, the tree, the weird like heart cave with a heart dangling from the ceiling,
Yeah.
these
Or the vampires
interiors with the green lights
disintegrating.
reflecting off. Yeah, the tree disintegrating. There are just some really cool, like creative environments. There's one where like there's a vampire floating off in a forest, and it's like got this purple haze, and it just looks really nice. Like the direction is on point as it usually is, and it's just a shame that the conversation, goes to the low hanging fruit of like, oh, it's like, where's my hyper detail?
Hmm.
It's just a shame. But I mean, I understand some of it. I suppose is why I'm saying. Why I'm saying, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's not the most incredible looking game ever, but I think it has its own style and the designs are fantastic, and I think that's really all that matters with these sort of things. And when you play these things in 4K in motion on your TV and stuff like that, they always look better than um especially arcane games, especially. They look better when you play them. There are some games that look better in trailers, but I'd go as far as saying
That's right.
arcane always feels better when you got it in your hands. But yeah.
Yeah. And I'll always remember when Dishonored 1 first came out, and I was seeing the marketing for it, and somebody, I'm not sure who, shout out to whoever it was, described the game as an oil painting in motion.
Mm,
And I always remember thinking, like, I don't like. I'm not watching the trailers. It looks kind of dated, like even at the time. Like it looks
mm,
fine, I guess. But then when you play it, it's kind of got this really nice fluidity to it, and how you move through the environment, how the textures look when you're in motion. So yeah, no, I think you're absolutely right. But I understand for a lot of people that's too much. That's hinging on, oh, just wait till you play it. I
yeah,
get that some
buy it.
people want to be
Yeah,
sold on it, but yeah, that's right. But it's in Game Pass. Fuck you.
yeah, yeah. True.
um, So yeah, I just think that whole saga has been really interesting. Because I even saw like some big names, big content creators, like tweeting out about um, Redfall and like with some hesitancy or some like questionable gifts, like Skill Up, did it for example. Um, so the game still needs to sell people, I guess. And I'm now thinking. I tweeted this as well. It's like I'm now just starting to accept that I think these games are just niche. I think Redfall just makes niche games, and I guess maybe the fact that it's kind of it has this nicheness to it that you can't really appreciate through video, but then it's kind of got some pop gaming elements to it in the sense that there's co-op, I guess, and that there's
Mm,
loot, I guess. That kind of contradiction is making people think, oh, it's like it's. I've even seen people say like the game's full of microtransactions. That is not a thing. Like it's made
yeah.
up. I guess
I,
it's just by association.
yeah. I think it's just, yeah, like you said, it's through association. I haven't seen a single thing that points towards microtransaction. Although they did say like future characters will come to the game and stuff like that.
Oh, they did,
Those
yeah.
those will
Hero
be,
Pass, yeah.
yeah. So there is like a hero pass and stuff like that, which is obviously purchasable. But I don't really see those as microtransactions as much as like kind of content.
They're not.
They're like
Yeah,
paid
no, they're not
content
microtransactions.
updates. Like
Yeah.
I don't. I don't know. It depends if, yeah. It depends how they handle it. But so far, I haven't seen anything that indicates microtransactions.
Yeah,
No.
that's right. And I'll eat my words if I'm wrong. I think it's because when it was leaked ages and ages and ages ago, and we spoke about it. One of the photos, the pictures, it said shop in the top, and one of the bits on the top, which wasn't in this gameplay demo. There wasn't a shop on the menu. But for all
Okay.
we know, that could have been like an in-game. We don't know what that is, and there's been no official confirmation. And it's not a game as a service. I don't think Arcane would dare try and make a game as a service. So, um,
Mm,
I'm not buying that at all. It's just, I think people are being. I'm surprised that people aren't giving Redfall the benefit of the doubt, considering we've done this every time.
yeah.
Like, I even went back and looked. Like, you can go and check my Twitter because I went back and looked at kind of the response to the Prey trailers, the Prey gameplay trailers, when that came out, which now has like a cult following. Um,
Mm,
Same shit, man. Oh, the enemies look so bland. Oh, gunplay looks really boring. Oh, this game looks slow and boring. Same shit. Deathloop, 2 years of marketing. What is this game? I don't understand it. Looks floaty and shit.
mm,
Comes out game of the year contender. Do you know what I mean? So it's like,
yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, I feel like, yeah. I mean, we are still hinging on this game being good, but I definitely do feel like Arcane must just be like, what we gotta do, guys? Like, how many times do we have to
yes.
prove ourselves? Like, they've literally got like a
Yeah.
whiteboard, and they're just like, every game we've released has been a 9 out of 10. Like, I don't know what to do. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. Why don't people trust us?
Yeah. Like, can we get a crumb of support? Like, just a morsel,
Yeah,
please. I'm
it's
begging of you.
it's very weird. It's one of the anomalies in gaming. Arcane, I have to admit. Yeah, it's very weird.
Really, truly. And as well, looking at the demo as a whole, I think the gameplay demo, there became some concern about like, oh, it really is just a Ubisoft game. And I don't know what you're talking about. Okay, it's an open world. There were some safe houses. They're not in towers or anything. There are areas. Yeah, there are areas you go into, and have like a mission or a fight in them. Like, I guess because they're safe houses, they describe them as safe houses. I guess that's kind of. But I'm just not getting the impression that this is the same thing as like a Ubisoft world where it's a tower. You go to the tower, you reveal icons in that area. I don't know. I guess they self-described it as being like their spin on Far Cry 2. So there's some very mild overlap, I'm sure. But if it looks like how it is, designed like a proper Arcane game, man, these games are like 60 times the density. In Ubisoft games, it's like it's an open field. There's a campfire. You walk it, you stab a guy in the neck. Oh, you've been spotted. Shoot him down. And that's it. You do that 160 times and the game's over. Whereas these games are like, they're so much more dense. And then you've got the loot layered on top of it and the powers, like,
Yeah. Yeah, I think we can agree that there might be some similarities, but they're just, if anything, they're just taking inspiration in some areas and just layering it on top of the density and world building that is Arcane. So it's going to feel much different and probably much better, if I had to bet my money on it.
No doubt. No doubt. I'm in. And so there was something else I wanted to touch on. I think it was just the size of it. Yeah, that was kind of it. Like, when the way they did the trailer, they moved around kind of that physical map on the table. It looked like it's big. It looks quite a lot bigger than I was anticipating. And I hadn't kind of realized the scale of that until afterwards. I was like, oh, actually, they've moved around a lot of this map. Do you know what I mean? And I was like, this is actually quite big.
Yeah. It looks like a pretty big world. Yeah. And they did say, it's not absolutely massive, but it's definitely the biggest they've done so far. But yeah, they haven't been entirely like specific with how big the world actually is. And I think it'll probably be quite surprising to a lot of people how big it is. Because it does. I agree with you. Yeah, it does look quite large. Yeah.
It also kind of looks very packed full of stuff. Like, I think when you look at what they were doing here, like this bit where they were going through the house and in the dark, that was kind of a story mission. They were getting the light bulb, they were turning the lighthouse on. That was a story mission. That wasn't like a Ubisoft turn the tower on kind of thing. That was a story mission. And then afterwards, they do some exploration of the open world. And then at one point, they go into one of those procedurally generated caves to destroy the heart, get a bit of loot. And then after, then they're like one of the bosses comes down from the sky because it's like an enforcement system. Like if you kill too many vampires, the game like dynamically, kind of in the same way Deathloop kind of had this dynamic difficulty, but it's represented by the Rook, by that dense vampire. And then they also, what's the other thing they did? They went on this to explore and found these skulls and propped them into these magical floating doors. And then there was like a raid boss vampire. And it's like, this is not none of these things are in like Far Cry. Do you know what I mean? There's a lot going on here, a lot of content. This is on top of the loot system, on top of like customizable stakes on each of your guns, on 4 different characters with different classes. Do you know what I mean? It's like there's a lot more going on here than kind of the sanitized Far Cry formula, I think, from what I'm understanding.
I'm 100% in agreement with you. Yeah, and I think again that was just, I'm sure they're holding some stuff close to their chest as well. I'm sure there's still a lot to reveal in terms of what the world can offer to us. There's no doubt in my mind that an Arcane game will have a lot of content and a lot of varied content. I don't think it's going to be samey. I don't think it's going to be wave-based missions or defend the tower missions or anything like that. I think it's going to be good, varied content and a lot of it. I will, eat my words if this game doesn't do any of that, but I'll go on the record and say I have faith that Arcane will be able to do that. So
yeah, I just think they'll pull it off. I think at the very worst, this game gets high 70s. I think it's going to crack 80s. I have some like moderate concerns about not the co-op necessarily, but how they've divided the powers up amongst everyone. Like I am a little bit worried about how the game's going to play if you're playing solo. Like I think it would be nice on one hand because it'll be a lot, the pace will be a lot slower, but you have so much less, utility. Yeah, your disposal. That was weird. I wanted me to say that word at the same time.
It's that good.
Yeah, compared to like Deathloop, you had so much. Like Dishonored, you have so many powers. Like it's just you have like kind of. Do you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I do know what you're saying. Yeah, you just feel like you're missing out a part of the game. If you're playing it solo, you're not experiencing the electrical abilities that this guy brings because you're playing the sniper. You're only getting like one side of a 4-sided coin. I don't know. Tired.
That's a good analogy. No, I like that. I like a four-sided coin. How does that even work? It's not a cube because a cube is like 6 sides.
Correct.
Anyway, yeah. So I guess the final question before we come off Redfall, Tim, is who you thinking you're going to play? Chat. Who are you going to play? Jacob is the sniper. Remy is the robot lady. Dev is the man with the spike gun and electric stake thing. And who's the other one? Layla is the magical umbrella purple lady.
Yeah, I'm thinking probably robot boy. I like AI companions. I like pet mechanics.
You do, don't you?
I do like that sort of stuff. So I think I'll probably go with him.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think you're probably gonna. Well, tell me who you're gonna go with. Do you think? But I think I know.
Yeah, I haven't decided yet. I guess I do like the idea of Layla.
Yeah.
Can't lie to you. I'm a simp for magic.
Yeah, he's such a magic simp.
I suck on the teat of magic. That's what I do. But yeah, I did think it was interesting. Like Remy, like that whole distraction robot. I thought that was kind of cool. I'm definitely like I think those are cool. I think those systems will work out quite well. Into the open world, and because stealth is a viable option here, and the environmental stuff is, I think that's really cool. And I think one of the abilities you actually see maybe coming up in the trailer is that she seems to have like a res circle. She like spins her hand around, she reses everyone near her or something like that. Maybe it's like a heal as well, so she does seem a bit on the supporty side. So it just kind of depends how it all comes together,
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Excellent. Okay, well, we look forward to seeing more. I remain really excited about it. I think there's an unfair amount of skepticism about this game, but overall, I hope they, manage to get people excited, because I'm going to be really sad if this game doesn't do well. I think I don't think it will be. It will flop, but I will be really sad if it doesn't do well, because we've been talking about this for like fucking 2 years now. Do you know what I mean? It's just like the curse of being a podcaster that you talk about something for so long. It's like you're in your own head.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll be disappointed as well, but I think it'll be all right.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So we're going to move on to what I've got as the title of the video. And this is really interesting. And I called this because I am nothing short of this generation's Albert Einstein. I'm sure you'd agree, Tim. I'm sure you'd agree.
Yeah.
I'm sure you'd agree. Yeah. So a while back, you may remember us talking about some of these ABK documents, and Microsoft said something about there being 3 future Bethesda titles, which they anticipate will be exclusives, because they're designed to be played primarily alone or in small groups.
Yes.
Interesting. They were redacted, and everybody said, oh, it's got to be Redfall, it's got to be Starfield, it's got to be Elder Scrolls, because those are all the ones that are publicly on the record of, coming out being exclusive, arguably. And we said, me and you, well, that doesn't make any sense, does it? Well, I asked you, and you came to the same conclusion as I did.
Oh.
So clearly there's some intellectual contagion going on here.
Must be, yeah.
Yeah, a chew. Is redacted, and that doesn't make sense because it's publicly available information, right?
Of course.
Why would it be those 3 games? So I said I put my body on the line. Not that anybody cares, because we're such a tiny fucking channel. But I was right. I think this is referring to 3 games, 3 secret games, 3 secret Bethesda games. A bit of deductive reasoning going on here. And now we know Hi-Fi Rush was a secret game. It was a secret game that was exclusive, and at the time, obviously, wasn't announced. So that makes me think there's 2 more unannounced Bethesda games that are due to come out exclusively on Xbox. So that might even be this year,
Potentially. Yeah. I think you're right in the fact there's 2 unannounced Bethesda projects there. I don't think you're right in them both being this year. But I think we might get one
Fuck
of them
you.
this year. Whoa, dude. The hell is your problem?
It was just a reflex. Like I didn't mean to.
I think we might get one of them this year or something. But yeah, I don't think we'll get both. But I do think you're right. I do think you're right.
It's an ambitious take for sure. It's an ambitious take. That there are going to be 3 secret unannounced games from Bethesda coming out this year. But, and this is where Timmer's gone now, so it's really sad. But Timmer has said, Spy Team, the trademark was registered in 2017, and that Spy Team is supposedly a Bethesda game. I don't think we know which studio is meant to be working on it. We don't know if it's been cancelled. But we know that it's, and we've seen the logo for it in the same way that we saw Hi-Fi Rush. Joaquin, look.
Do you just say Marmite because it's British? Do you associate Marmite with British people?
Yeah, I think he does.
Is that what you're doing?
Yeah.
You're being racist right now. Not cool, man.
I think there's something going on here. You know, I think with the energy surrounding Xbox this year, and I also think that this is going to allow them to be more cagey with their release dates. Look, they've broken their promise already. You know, I hope they never do this fucking thing again where they say we're going to release everything in the next 12 months, because they haven't been able to keep to it. So like, there's no point. Well, we don't know that officially yet, but you know, I'm pretty sure now that Forza is coming out second half, because otherwise they would have said. I'm pretty sure that Starfield is going to come out second half as well. Again, we don't know, but do you know what would soften that blow? Why are you twitching?
Because you just said Starfield and is coming out in the second half.
Do you think I manifested it?
Not cool, man. There's absolutely no evidence to state this.
Look,
we're trying to grow here, Deck, not get cancelled. Although all bad press is good press, right? What they say.
Yeah, that's exactly, and that's why we open our podcast talking about eating our own shit. Because maybe someone will, like, you know, subtweet us or you know, post us to like the Scat subreddit or something, and before you know it, we've got 50 more subscribers.
If you get on the Scat subreddit, you're making it big at that point.
Everybody knows that's just the trajectory of fame, really. God, you've killed my train of thought. I'm quite angry now.
Yeah, I can't remember what I was talking about. Oh yeah,
I was.
You got it.
Yeah, so I think, that's what I was saying. It would give them more leeway to delay some of those big games if they do have some secret games in development. And these might not be massive AAA games. They might be, again, some smaller games. Who knows? Maybe one of them is a bigger game. But they've said they're meant to be primarily alone or in small groups. So either, you know, we've had Hi-Fi Rush, which is obviously a solo game. So if there are 2 more, one of them's got to be a group game. And Spy Team, I think, supposedly was like a Team Fortressy kind of game. I might be making it up. Timmy, you'll have to leave a comment if I've made that up. But I think that was like the speculation. I don't know, Tim. Do you not think am I onto something here? Because I think I'm onto something, and I don't think anybody's taking me seriously. And because I said this last time, and now it's looking like I was right. You know what I mean? Like, it's looking like Dex, the guy.
Yeah, but you're coming off like an insane person, and maybe that's why you're like fucking crazy Earl, man.
Crazy Earl.
But like, I do agree that if Forza and Starfield do get hit with that delay, it would soften the blow to have these 2 unannounced projects release very quickly. But then also, how likely is it that Xbox is going to kind of shadow drop 2 more Bethesda games?
No, I don't think they're going to shadow drop them.
I said kind of shadow drop. You're saying that they're basically
Okay.
going to put it out in this first half of the year because of the fucking blunders that would be Forza and Starfield getting delayed. So you're telling me that they're putting out 3 Bethesda games in less than 6 months?
Yes.
You are
Actually,
smoking.
5.
You are
Actually,
smoking,
5.
Marmite. I
For
agree.
Starfield and Redfall. No, I'm not. I don't hate you,
You are.
Joaquin. You're the
And
best.
Joaquin, I actually do like Marmite, so do you want to like get off my back?
No, I do as well.
Yeah,
I
I
do.
eat that shit on like bagels and toast, and it's just pretty good in a
Yes.
sandwich as well. So get off my back.
Yeah, no, like what I was saying there, in case that wasn't clear, is the thing about Marmite is that you love it or hate it. It's literally the thing. You know, they even put it in their advertising.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, it's just how it goes. Some people put Marmite in pasta. You know, I don't do that. I think that's a bit fucking weird. But it's a student meal.
It's good.
Students do that. Is it
It's
right?
Yeah, it's actually
Okay.
pretty good, man. You put cheese in it, and you mix the cheese in too while it's hot, and it goes all like cheesy and Marmite. It's actually pretty good, man.
Like tar, yeah.
Yeah, no,
I think that would make sense. It sounds good. I haven't had Marmite in like a decade, like for real.
I had it like maybe a month ago.
I prefer Bovril.
Nah, I prefer Marmite.
What's the 5th sense in your mouth?
Unami. What's it?
Tsunami? Tsunami?
Is it's that like
Punami?
flavor, isn't it? That isn't really anything. I forgot what it's called.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it is umami. I think you're right. I think it is. Well, because supposedly, I learned about this. Supposedly, it's meant to be like the meat flavor.
What is?
Umami.
Oh. Okay.
Is that not weird?
Yeah, I guess so.
I don't know. I think that's a can of worms, to be honest with you. I think that's like there's a thread there that really makes me start questioning things, because it's like, why do I have part of my mouth which is designated to tasting meaty things? I don't know. I think that's kind of weird.
At one point.
Right. But like, was that always there? Have we evolved to have it? What if you were born in somewhere where, like, you know, derelict, and there were just vegetables everywhere? Like, do you still have a meat center in your mouth?
Correct. Yeah.
Or maybe it's not meat. Maybe it's just what we think is meat, which is like, you know.
Okay. Yeah, we're starting to yank the thread and things starting to unravel here.
Like, because what does it mean? Because what about fish? Fish umami?
Fish umami? Question mark. That's a good tweet right there. I tweet that out there.
I just think it's you know, it's up for debate. I think, and so supposedly MSG is like, you know, a lot of the seasoning that they use over in Asia, and that's supposedly meant to hit that. And so everybody says you should do salt, pepper, MSG, because it hits 3 things.
Salt, pepper, umami.
It's like ready, steady, cook. Yeah. Let's see, a salt bitter. You know what I mean? I don't know, man. Like, and that just freaks me out, because then it's like, if that's the case, why am I wasting a taste center? I just think these are important questions that need some discussion. You know, we're not going to get anywhere without this Socratic dialogue. You know, don't look at me like that.
Like what? Just fucking move on. I got places to be, man.
You fucking don't.
No, I don't. The place I need to be is bed. With a fucking phone in my hand. Playing a cloud game, probably.
Oh, that sounds really nice, man. That sounds really nice.
Xbox marketing right there.
I hate that, this is what I've titled the video, and that's the section that a lot of people are going to come and click on for the timestamp. Okay, how do I wrap this up in a way that's not going to make people click away from the video? I'm going to stick to my guns. I do think that there's 2 unannounced Bethesda games coming this year.
Okay, you're saying this year.
Yeah, for real.
I don't think they're coming this year. But
You think I'm off my bloody rocker?
I think you're off your bloody rocker. No, I do think that you're right in the sense that they are 2 unannounced Bethesda games, and I do think that maybe we'll get one, but I don't think we're getting both of these dropped this year.
Mm-hmm.
So I agree with half of your statement.
So I'll segue into one of the next stories. It's not next on the notes, but one of the things that is supposedly happening from Insider Gaming, the guys over there, is that there's a Bethesda event happening in early March, Tim, supposedly.
What?
You know what I think is going to be there?
What?
Starfield. Oh, actually, I don't know. But so this is a whole thing. It's a whole thing, man, because like if Bethesda are having their own event in early March, is that not a developer direct? Because they said they were giving Starfield their own standalone show, but maybe this is what they mean. They're just going to let Bethesda do this one, And in which case, maybe they're going to do the standalone Bethesda show. Maybe not. Maybe Xbox is going to do the developer direct for Starfield, and then Bethesda are going to have their own event in early March to show off the 2 unannounced games for the rest of the year. Cracked it. I mean, literally, that's it. That's what's going to happen.
Really? You think Xbox is going to host Starfield as a developer direct, and Bethesda are going to use their platform and show to talk about their unreleased games, unannounced games?
Yeah. I mean, who could be? I'm trying to think. What studios are left? Machine Games. Who's the team? Oh fuck! Who's to be Human Head? Oh no! There's another one of their teams that we haven't seen a game from in a while. They oh shit! I'm sure chat will know who I'm talking about. Who's that secret studio at Bethesda? It's not secret studio. The ones they used to be Human Head. They were going to make Prey 2. Roundhouse legend. There we go. Yeah, that was it. Roundhouse. We haven't heard from them in ages. Yeah, nice work. It'd do something. For sure. Yeah, Machine Games. I'm sure there's another studio. ZeniMax, we know are balls deep in something as well. I just think there's a lot in the pipeline that must be coming up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And March would be a good time for them to like have their own reveal on their own terms, and then Xbox follow it up with gameplay for the showcase.
Okay. I could see that. I'll give you props for that one. I could see that being a very realistic schedule right there.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm just... Okay. Well, that's great. We tied that all up. Joaquin's been very patient, and he's asked about Last of Us. So I haven't watched Last of Us. I had a whole thing about it. I think you fell asleep about my whole rant. I haven't seen it, Joaquin, but I had like a big thing about replicating the game, which is not a dig against the quality because it looks very good. So Tim, why don't you tell us how you feel about the game?
Good one.
Got him. Freudian slip. Not really.
Yeah. So I'm up to date on Last of Us. I've watched the first 2 episodes. I think it's pretty excellent. Yeah, so far I think it's I'm really enjoying it. I'm enjoying it. I think it's weird because I feel like if you're a massive fan of the game, you're gonna absolutely love this. And then I feel like if you also haven't really played the games or don't really know about it, you're also going to really enjoy it as well. I do feel like it caters to both audiences here, because the people who like Last of Us, they like Last of Us. They will not shut up about it, and it's annoying. So it does cater to both. The acting is phenomenal. The set pieces, like the set and CGI and all that, and costumes, and it's really good. Like, the whole vibe of the show is spot on. Like, it genuinely feels post-apocalyptic. It feels like a really broken world. And you can really start to see this sort of bond between Ellie and Joel like start to develop. Even in the first like couple episodes, you can feel him warming up to her, sort of slowly but surely, and it's quite cute, and it's just really good, man. I'm really enjoying it. And yeah, I just think it just it's pretty much hitting everything on the head right now. And I'm really looking forward to watching the next episode tomorrow. I literally watched them as they release, like on the day. So yeah.
What do you think is going to happen?
You joke, but I don't know the story of Last of Us. I have remained ignorant. Like, I know like the general like plot, and I know like the ending, and you know the whole like choice and all this kind of stuff. Spoilers, but like I don't know the in betweens. I don't know what happens to the characters they meet along the way, and the relationships they have, and how those end, and all that kind of stuff. So a lot of it I will be experiencing for the first time. So I'm quite excited. But yeah, I know how it's going to end. I don't know how the second one's going to end, because they're going to do another season, and it's just going to be Last of Us Part 2. It's going to follow that game. So,
well,
yeah.
It got renewed, didn't it? It got renewed for season 2, like just yesterday or something, and they literally said, "Yeah, I'll just be Last of Us Part 2." So
yeah,
you know,
I'm
glad they're pulling it off, though. You know, for real, I'm glad they're pulling it off. I'm taking a piss, but I am happy that they're doing it. So
yeah, no, it's it's really good to see gaming translate into like TV media and cinema and all that. For the first time, like exceptionally. This is probably the best way it's been done. So it's nice that we're finally starting to get over that hump now. And
live action, that is.
Yeah, live action, that is. Yeah, of course, there's been good animes, but it's nice that we're finally getting over that hump, and maybe starting to understand that transition a bit better. So yeah, for sure, mad props. And I'll let you know about episode 3 on next week. But I don't want to talk about it in too much detail, because I don't want to spoil it, and I don't want to, a lot of people are watching this for the first time. So, yeah.
Well, it's it's also the directors that did Chernobyl, isn't it? I don't think you've seen Chernobyl, have you? And Chernobyl was absolutely phenomenal. It was so good.
Yeah, I've heard it's very good. No, I haven't seen it. But yeah, I've heard it's excellent. Yeah.
Definitely pick the right people, but of course, none of those things are as good as the other live action video game adaptation, Halo. So when you're done with that, bop over to Halo, watch John 117's butt cheeks.
All right.
And a bunch of other things. Watch him get laid.
Yo,
some good shit.
Let's go. Well, actually, yeah, that's kind of high. Does he do it in the suit? Does he have like a zipper? Just whip his dong out. Does he stay in the suit?
No, he doesn't stay in the suit. Ever. Why doesn't he stay in the suit? You should.
He should always stay in the suit, man.
Yeah. Cool. Okay. What else have we got here? Tim, Warhammer Darktide?
Yeah.
Thing?
It's never going to be a thing. At least in my eyes now, because this shit's going to get overshadowed by so much other shit, to the point where I don't think I'm going to have the time I want to play this game anymore. Which is a real shame. A real shame.
Yeah, and it also didn't come out with the kind of splash that we were hoping it would. And now I'm just kind of a bit down on the game, and it's going to be another one of these. Wait 2 years before it's really good, and it's like, Jesus.
Yeah, we don't need another Sea of Thieves. Come on. Could I just get a game now, please? Yeah.
They really...
Yeah. They've screwed the pooch,
I think,
on this one.
They have, and I think Fat Shark had a really good opportunity here to, make their Warhammer series go kind of mainstream.
Yeah.
And yeah, just kind of fucked it by the looks of it. You know, a lot of people have said that, you know, it is really good. It is really, really good, but there's not, you know, there's a lot, there's like, it's buggy. There's like some content kind of missing. You know, the progression's just not good. And I remember Vermintide 2 when that came out, that had the same problem. Like, it was a bit buggy, it was a bit unoptimized. The progression was just like a load of wank. Like, you know, it's like a 1% chance that you'd get a weapon that was a bit different from yours. And it's like, that is not good enough. Like, I don't know why these lessons haven't been learned yet. I don't know. Maybe they, you know, maybe it is literally just a case of the game needed longer and more QA and all of that. So it's just irritating. And, you know, I've made a note here as well that, like, man, Xbox are never working with Fat Shark again. The fact that they hyper prioritized PC and the game, like Darktide, has been pushed back and back and back for Series X is just stupid.
Yeah, it's not.
X and S, sorry.
It's not a good not a good start to their relationship. And yeah, it will be muddy waters moving forward for them. But, you know, hopefully they'll get their shit in order, and yeah, like you said, the game will be good eventually. I'm sure. It's definitely got the bones there to be a great game. And maybe I'll play it, you know, next year or something like that, when my hype and everything else has died down from this year. But it's going to take a lot to pull my attention away from some of the upcoming games to play Darktide, I have to admit.
Yeah, no, I'm in agreement. Okay, I think Joaquin's got a good question here. What Xbox IP do you think should get a HBO adaptation? Go. You're watching The Last of Us. You're in the spirit of a sad dad TV show.
Tomb Raider. Is Tomb Raider an Xbox IP?
No,
it's not. We got timed exclusivity on it, didn't we?
that's right.
God, I don't know. It's just there's so many. I do think I know everyone's going to say it, but I do think Gears would be pretty good. I know that's going to be the first one that pops into a lot of people's head, but for the lack of thinking of something else right now, I think Gears would be a good one. I also think Fable could be kind of good, but it might be kind of dodgy with its CGI and stuff like that, because it's a lot of high fantasy and stuff. But Fable could be kind of good.
Dishonored. I rest my case. Bleak fucking world. There's a plague. Everyone's dying. So I mean, that's what a lot of these, whatever, you know, if we're talking about the same, you know, development crew as Chernobyl and Last of Us, that's their next project. If they were going to give another one to them, for sure, it would be like a story in the world of Dishonored. That'd be great.
It would be pretty cool. Yeah, definitely wouldn't be a bad one. Yeah. Dishonored is a great choice. Yeah. What would you choose, Joaquin? Give us your one.
Yeah. We'll just sit here in silence and wait for you
No.
I
was expecting you to move on next. I'm sorry.
Yeah, okay, I will. I'll do that then.
He said
it says my man's got it. Yeah, my man's got it.
Yeah, Hellblade would be great. God, that's why he asked us that question, because he knew he had like the best one.
Yeah, it locked. Yeah, it loaded and ready to go.
Yeah, he knew he was gonna trump us. Fucking snake.
Okay, let's talk about some Xbox revenue, some numbers, some dollar, some money that I'll never ever experience even a percentile of. Their gaming revenue is down 13%. Xbox content and services is down 12%. Xbox hardware revenue down 13%. First party and third party content declined. Game Pass subscribers went up, actually.
Oh, wow. Incredible.
Why?
Yeah. Nice. Wait, that doesn't make any sense. What content and services were down, but Game Pass subscribers grew? Aren't they like kind of the same thing?
I guess Xbox Live.
Yeah, I guess.
I mean, maybe.
Don't you have to have Xbox Live to have Games Pass?
I don't think so. No, I think Ultimate bundles them together, but you could have Game Pass without Live on just the base tier.
Yeah, okay. And you're still able to like download games and stuff. Okay.
Yeah. What do you think this tells us? Because I've got an idea. So this is obviously for last year, for 2022, the year that so many, like they cry at their bedside every night about how that was it was a plague on the gaming industry that Xbox even existed in the year 2022. But Game Pass, and obviously lots of things are down here, so let's not forget that. And given the lack of first party releases, maybe that's not too surprising. But the Game Pass subscribers grew. Why do you think? Give me your interpretation of these numbers.
Well, Game Pass subscribers have grown just because of just the sheer value and variety that comes with Game Pass. Even if it's not first party, there's just so much in there from third parties. And it's all very mixed matched genres. So like it's just a lot of loads of different types of genres in there and stuff that people wouldn't try and stuff like that. And I think that gives people the sort of inspiration to just get like a month or two, or to lock it down for 6 months or something like that, to just get this catalog of games they might have not normally tried, which is far cheaper than just buying like one first party game, from the store, or from like a physical copy or something like that. So I think it just makes sense from just a value perspective that Games Pass grew. Everything else is kind of surprising that it's gone down, because with the whole ramp up of Xbox building these IPs and buying these studios and these games really on everyone's radar now, and being very close to release, and great sales on like Series S and stuff like that. It's quite surprising that these have actually gone down. You'd expect these would have gone up with anticipation of all of these games set to release in 2023 onwards, but yeah.
But bear in mind, this is over the whole year, and like honestly, I'm not all that surprised that gaming revenue and content and services have gone down, because the optics around Xbox was so bad last year, and there weren't any system sellers. Like, this is the importance. I downplay it often, but I of course I understand the importance of what we call a system seller. There is a certain something, a certain quality to a game that pulls you to a box. For some people, I bet Hi-Fi Rush would do that. Like, seriously, it's not an indie game; it's a sizable game for a Series S. It's a low price point with Game Pass. I bet it could be, but it's maybe still not hitting those big levels that you need a bigger game that's critical. Starfield or something like that. I think Redfall could do that if it's received very well critically. Maybe I'm probably lying to myself because they never sell well. So, but that doesn't surprise me too much. I reckon my interpretation is that given that everybody said that Xbox 2022 was absolutely pants last year, and I think it clearly shows that the Game Pass, like you said, the Game Pass offering was actually still very good, which I've said countless times. The amount of Game Pass games got nominated for Game of the Year, in different categories. We all saw that, and I'm regularly annoyed that people will just happily hand wave that, like, oh, it's not first party though, is it? Okay, whatever goalpost counts, I guess. And the other angle to this is that, of course, Game Pass is no longer just Xbox. So over the year, maybe PC sales went up. Maybe Game Pass went onto more TVs. Maybe people, more people got access to them. To there. xCloud rolled out to more countries, things like that. The low barrier of entry to Game Pass, I think, helps that, because that's going to continue to reverberate.
Which also makes sense.
Whichever screen you're looking at.
Hardware sales might have dipped a little bit as well if people are playing Games Pass and Xbox titles on PCs, like with more accessibility and on their phones and stuff like that. It makes sense why hardware's gone down a bit as well.
Absolutely. And Joaquin makes a great point. 2021 was a very good year for Xbox. I keep having this argument with people on Twitter that people are literally like, Xbox hasn't had a good year since 2012. And it's like, what the fuck are you talking about? What the fuck are you talking about? it's not true. So yeah, like of course, by comparison, 2022 was definitely, it was in absolute terms, it was still not a good year from the first party perspective, but in relative terms, it was worse in terms of first party output. And I guess I think that's a good point. Maybe because the accessibility to Game Pass is growing, the hardware is less desirable. But also, I think it is a bit weird seeing hardware go down this early in the gen. You know, I think maybe the increase in availability of the PS5 has probably hurt that a bit as well. Where there are people that sit on the fence and they get to make their choice, and then God of War came out as well. I think maybe there's some people tipping over the fence there as well. So overall, not like hyper surprising, but I would say the hardware revenue is a bit more surprising than I was anticipating. But and I guess maybe because the Series S is a cheaper model, maybe there is a bit of a less revenue. If the Series S really is catching traction in the same way that we expect it is. It's the Series S is essentially the main console for this gen, and then all us hardcore guys have the Series X, and that would probably result in a revenue dip as well. So lots of different reasons, but no alarm bells need to be rung. And if Xbox are going to continue on this trajectory that they've started on in 2023, I expect that will be changing.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, I think we're probably on to our final story then, which is it's ABK. There you go, Joaquin, just for you. Saved it till last.
Let's go.
If you're talking about the same thing I'm talking about, which is that Frank Shaw, who's one of the communication managers, I think he's the communication manager over at Microsoft, tweeted out like a serious string of tweets, but most pertinently, he said, quote, "I hear Sony is briefing people in Brussels claiming that Microsoft is unwilling to offer them parity for Call of Duty if we acquire Activision. Nothing could be further from the truth," close quote. It's just time is a flat circle, and I want off. I need to. I need an escape strategy.
He's briefing people in Brussels claiming Microsoft is unwilling to offer them parity for Call of Duty if we acquire Activision. It's ridiculous. Like it's getting to the point of the boy who cried wolf at this point. I'm getting sick of it.
It was getting boring already when there were actual offers on the table, but now Sony's literally going, nah. They're going to regulators, and regulators are like, so we Microsoft were here last month, and they said that they've offered you parity on COD, and they're just like, no.
Yeah, no, they haven't.
What do you?
No, I seem to recall
in
writing, that they offered like 10 years or something of like guaranteed on your platform. No, they didn't. No,
I haven't heard a peep. No.
Yeah, haven't heard anything. I mean, I'm happy living in the cave.
Meanwhile, their phones buzzing, yeah,
or anything. But yeah, technically, I haven't heard anything, so technically, they haven't done it. Hasn't reached my ears.
I do not see it.
It doesn't exist.
Yeah, and obviously, it is quite a wild thing for Frank, for someone this high up in the organization to just tweet out, vent their frustrations. Well, it's a PR move as well, but just to be like, they're literally lying to regulators. Do you know what I mean? And there is scummery that goes on with these sort of deals and fucking politics and all sorts of bullshit. But it's just Sony's handling of this is so funny. It's not funny. It's painful. But you know what I mean. It's painful from all angles for everyone here. And Microsoft have said some equally dumb shit as well. This is just the next dumb shit and the dumb fucking acquisition that we're all fucking done with.
Genuinely, I'm so done. And yeah, I just I just feel like it just keeps going round in circles, and just like it just keeps coming
Yeah,
back to
that's
the
it.
same point, and it's just like I don't know. Is it like an expiry date on some of these statements or something?
Well, there is an expiry date on the deal, and that's kind of like what everyone is speculating at the
They're stalling.
FTC and Sony are stalling. Yeah, because there is an expiry date in the sense that if it doesn't finish by, I think, June, which was their like predicted date, Microsoft will get fined like 3 billion. So there are times this has happened where the acquirer has just dropped the deal. They've just been like, "Fuck this! Like, we're not going to take a 3 bill loss." Just for because for the same reason. And so they could just chomp it and then keep going ahead with the deal. But it just depends. I think this is just the pressure that they're up against, really.
So lame. Such a lame tactic, dude. If that's what they're doing.
It is. It is, and it's like, every time we hear about, well, I mean, not anymore. Now it's like boring stuff. But, in the early days, it was like, don't worry, guys. Called up Sony myself, told them 3 years on us. Don't worry about it. Parity, no exclusive content. I was like, okay, cool. A week later, okay, not happy with that? Don't worry, I'll up it. 10 years, bang, can't say no. Nothing wrong with that. No, not happy with that? Next week goes by. I'll tell you what, guys, we'll put it on Steam. We'll put it on Switch. Everybody gets a Call of Duty. Do you know what I mean? And then it's like a month goes by, and it's like Sony's saying we're not even offering it. They're not offering it at all. Like,
Yeah.
What?
Yeah,
Why do I
mean,
have to hear this again?
Yeah. It's
I've been here. I swear to God. Like,
yeah, it does. It feels a bit Groundhog Day-ish, doesn't it? Yeah, it's just a straight up lie. Like, I just don't. There's nothing else to it. It's a lie that's like, yeah, just being used to just stall. I think. Yeah, I'm kind of done with it. There's not really much more I want to say on it. I mean, everyone knows that it's false, everything he's saying, and they're saying. So it's just, yeah, there's not really much more to say on the matter, really.
no, I don't know what you say. And I think it's actually like to tie this back to something that's actually worth talking about. And, doesn't make my skin peel on the spot. Is that like I think this kind of works with like if there are more unannounced games. Like I think this whole fucking shenanigan ups the odds of there being unannounced games that are like nearly ready to go because we spoke about this before. A lot of Sony and Xbox kind of holding back at the moment a little bit while this is all going on. I think this, they don't want to have like an 8-month lead up to a really busy end of the year because it looks bad for them. But to shadow drop games, they kind of course they get good at, it gets good PR in the news cycle and everything. But they escape that kind of optics of like, wow, you look like you've got busy. You're doing pretty well with that Bethesda acquisition, aren't you?
Yeah.
Wow, looking pretty stacked over there. That chip pile was quite high. You really need this? Do you really need this ABK? Yeah, you've got to get on your tiptoes just to have a look, get a look at your forehead over that chip stack. So I don't. I think it kind of falls into that broader strategy. Ultimately, I still think I'm right.
What? What do you mean? What's this in reference to?
Hey, it doesn't matter. Let's just hit the bell. Let's get out of it. It doesn't matter.
You're gonna go on about your 3 Bethesda games again?
I was going to go on about it again. It's just that no one's talking about it, man. And I connected these dots months ago, and I swear to God, nobody else is talking about it.
DM skill.
And then it's gonna happen. It's going to happen, and then somebody else, like fucking, I don't know, the skill up's going to be like, oh, I bet these other 2 unannounced games are something secret from Xbox, and everyone's going to chime in and be like, wow, like, good job, like, good detective skills, and little old me's here with 7 views on the board. Do you know what I mean? Joaquin, man on my right hand, my right wing, right shoulder, the devil in my ear.
Yeah.
Is bear witness. It's Sunday, please. I need to go.
Yeah, we are jingling right now. This
Oh,
whole round.
yeah, okay. I thought I just had to keep going until I got the
No.
go ahead.
This whole round's been jingled.
Okay. I'm sorry. Sony lying to the commission? So I was just doing my fucking timestamps.
Yeah, good to see you too, Joaquin. Thanks for tuning in, buddy. The Marmite boys, I like it.
No, I quite like it as well, actually, to be fair.
The Marmite marsupials.
There might be Is that a monkey? Is a marsupial a monkey?
I don't know, it's something like that.
I think it is.
Marsupial meaning is a mammal. A mammal of an order whose members are born incompletely developed and are typically carried in a pouch. Mother's belly. Wow, it's us. The Marmite marsupials.
Yeah. Can't wait to be carried in your pouch.
Get in there.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Yeah.